It's amazing to me how much home team sports teams affect business.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, like working, doing all this stuff for Harvey's, like I do all their social.
Yep.
And the Bills loss. If the Bills had continued, how much money would be generated for them?
Yeah. It's like a $10,000 swing just off of one loss to Kansas City.
It's crazy.
You would have got if let's see. So who I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl. Yeah, Kansas City.
Kansas City and the Niners.
Yeah, so it would have been but Baltimore won. So
Yeah.
Bills would have been in Baltimore. So
Yeah.
bad for New York, I guess. But it's a big swing. We would have had a whole week of just promoting Bills in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Super Bowl's busy for us for to-go orders.
Yeah.
Not in-house. People don't come in, watch the game. They all have house parties, everything else. So
Yeah.
that would have been huge. It would have been a flip. Everyone would have been into the pub. Like, I don't want to have all these people in my house. Like, but who knows?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now I don't even care. Let's Super
Yeah.
Bowl commercials. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean,
Go Niners.
Yeah, I know. I hate the Chiefs so much. People always ask me like, "Who's your team?" I know you're a Commanders.
Washington.
Washington. Yeah, Washington.
Washington.
I don't really have a team. I tell people it's like whoever's on my fantasy team that week or whoever I bet on.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's what's good for the pub. Like there's a lot of Bills fans come in, but we have Giants fans, Eagles fans from back in the day when McNabb played.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Not many people have 26 TVs in their living room and can watch every game from every angle. So that's good for me.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But everyone's always like, "Oh, can you turn this game on? I got the starting quarterback." And I'm like, "Move one seat over. It's right there." "Oh yeah, there it is." So
Yeah.
that's all the fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I back in the day I worked for Dolce Vita and
Nice.
doing their social, and she was like, I was hanging out there at the end of it. I think it was like a SU Duke game, maybe, but
Yeah.
we had the game on the TV. I was having a beer, and SU lost that game. This is like 7 years ago.
I think we only won once against Duke. I don't know.
And she was like, well, might as well close up. I was like, why? She was like, because nobody's going to go out after an SU loss.
Yeah.
They all go home.
Yeah, they don't drink their sorrows away like everyone says. But
Yeah.
it's always just like I like the big wins at home. Like if it's a noon game, like we get some people into the pub, but noon's a little early. I like the 3-4 o'clock games.
Yeah.
Rolls into dinner time, stay for dinner. But if it's a big win at noon, we beat Duke, then they're out all night long. So it's
Yeah.
like we get the aftermath of a home game, 3-4 o'clock, and we're busy all the way through.
Yeah. Oh, do you get that stuff up there?
Yeah, so a lot of people obviously go to the Dome, travel.
Yeah.
A lot are from Liverpool or North Syracuse and drive by, or Baldwinsville, and they come out and have a good time and party it up. Like Syracuse just won. It's like the ultimate high.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of where home team got its name. It's just like I was technically I got it from Thomas Rhett. So
Okay. There you go.
but I'm a big Thomas Rhett fan. And another bar that I managed.
Yeah.
I met him, and he was a cool dude. And when he came on stage, he just had that presence about him. Like, man, I'm going to own this crowd. And I was like, wow, I don't even like country music. But that dude came out to Eminem, and he was just rocking. I was like, this is awesome. This ain't a country show. And so I followed him ever since that. And then he came out with his fan club, and it was called the Home Team, which I never, it's called the Home Team. Didn't put two and two together. Me and my wife bought the place, and we're thinking of a name. And we're like, I don't know. So we went away. We went to, I think it was Darien Lake with the kids. And he comes on stage, and he's just sitting there, and he's just like, you know what? Nothing brings people together like the Home Team. And I looked at my wife, and I was like, that's the name. And it's true. Like,
Yeah.
everyone rallies around the Home Team.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't matter. Who's the home team for the Super Bowl? Is it the Chiefs or
Uh,
the 49ers?
I think it's the Chiefs only because they're practicing this week. It's been like a big issue. They're practicing on the Raiders practice facility, and the 49ers are practicing at UNLV's
Oh yeah,
facility.
that's right. Yeah, I did hear that. And the Chiefs got the Raiders the locker room, and that's like the Raiders are like, whoa, are they the same division? I think.
I think so, yeah. But I heard, but then I saw something that like a meme that was going around, and who knows? It's the thing that sucks about the internet today. You don't know what the hell's true.
Yeah.
There was a meme going around that the Raiders purposefully kicked the Chiefs out of their locker room and said, "You can't use our locker room. You have to use this locker room." Some like smaller one.
So like when Buffalo turned off the hot water to the Chiefs locker room, like how is that? I don't know.
There's only like I grew up like just south of Cincinnati in northern Kentucky, and while if the Bengals are doing well, like I'll watch the game, but I wouldn't consider myself a Cincinnati fan. But I hate the Steelers.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a massive fan of the Bills. I'll follow them, and although I did bet against them a few times this year and won, but anyways, I hate the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate the Chiefs. You know,
I don't hate the Chiefs. The only team I hate is Dallas, but that's just I don't know. It's just that's how I grew up, like Redskins, Dallas. Oops, edit that out. But
Redskins and Warriors, the two names you're not allowed to say anymore.
I know. I have Warriors all over my place, and if they do change the name, I want it all. So
Yeah.
Liverpool, give me all your Warrior stuff. I'm putting it all up. Once a Warrior, always a Warrior.
That's crazy. For those of you not listening who don't know what we're talking about, Liverpool or New York State.
Yeah, New York State's pulling their funding if they don't change their name to Warrior, but they changed their logo. However, like when did I graduate? 25 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So it was like 22 years ago they changed their Indian head to the Roman warrior or whatever it is now.
So the Roman Warrior, the Liverpool Warriors with a Roman mascot
Yeah.
are forced to change their name from the Warriors.
Exactly.
What happens if they vote to keep it the same name?
I don't know what New York State does. It's in their court, I guess.
That's crazy.
Guess I have to run for governor. When's that up?
I was just
I'm
on
not
their,
a big politician, but
yeah.
I'll do it.
I was just on the New York State website because I had to fill out some form for the restaurant, and it was like, New York stands with Israel, which I was glad to see. And then it was like it was like Governor Hochul's letter about immigration. I was like, I do not want to read that.
Yeah, no. I won't get into that. But I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it's wild. I was, Bud just gets back from vacation and
Again?
Yeah.
Where do you go now?
I know, right?
Jeez, Bud.
Bud, I mean, how old is Bud now? Is he 70?
I think he's Bud 82. 82. X 16. Hey, Bud.
The best part is that
I'm not drinking, Bud.
I know that Bud has famously told people that he falls asleep listening to the podcast. So just to think that Bud right now,
I fell asleep during his. That was about it. Everyone else's I was in tune for.
Just to think that someday in the future, Bud is falling asleep right now listening, and he's going to be jolted awake when he finds out that you said he was 82 years old.
Yeah, he's 82. Definitely 82. I seen his golf swing.
Bud, White Claw Laura. But yeah, he just got back from vacation down in Cape Coral or Canaveral or wherever the hell he was in Florida, and just talking about like the money that's down there and like the restaurant and then it's wild.
You don't care about anything. Like you're on vacation, I don't care how much a vodka is, $8, whatever. I'll pay for it. But back at home in Syracuse, if it's $7, oh my god.
Yeah. So I went to breakfast yesterday at a place in East Syracuse, and I got an omelet with cheese and bacon, home fries, and coffee. Okay, it was $17. Mm-hmm. I thought that nowadays we're accustomed to it, right?
Yeah.
But as I was driving away, I was thinking to myself, I wonder because like I have a friend who lives in Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, and he's married with 2 kids and started working at Home Depot 4 years ago. Now today he's like a department head and makes good money. But 4 years ago when he started, he was getting paid $7.25 an hour.
Yep.
And I'm like, how in the hell are you living on $7.25 an hour? So I had the thought, I wonder if restaurants in these communities where there's like incredibly low is the food, is it incredibly cheap to go out to eat? I've started this is how into it I've gotten. I've started searching.
Got a spreadsheet going?
Yeah, pretty much. Because my plan is to find restaurants that have do a remote podcast with them, these owners, to be like, hey, what's your food cost? So I've started trying to find counties that have a similar population to ours, restaurants in those cities, go online, see what they're charging for food, and if it's the same, if it's higher or lower, and then try and set up podcasts with those owners. But so far, the one restaurant that I looked up this morning, their French toast was $19.
Yeah.
In a same population as Onondaga County in Georgia, where minimum wage is $7. It's still just as, if not more expensive.
Yeah, you could find restaurants. Every restaurant's different, but you could find. I'm trying to think. My buddy lives in Atlanta. Go Braves. There's another one. Jeez.
That's right. You're a Braves fan, aren't you?
Yeah, all my teams with the Indian background. Jeez.
Are they still the Braves?
Yeah, they're the Braves.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we're not allowed to do the tomahawk chop anymore. I went to the World Series, and they're like, "Oh, the commissioner doesn't want us to do the chop," and everyone starts doing the chop. I'm like, okay, fine with me.
Yeah.
But there's diners you can go get eggs and stuff for $7, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Eggs are like 10 cents. I don't know. That's how I feel like paying for steak. I'm like, I know how much this is. Why is this one $64 when you took it out of a wrapper?
Do you guys go out to eat a lot with the restaurant?
We do. Me and the kids and wife are always busy doing something with sports or going back and forth for something. We go out a lot or order takeout and stuff. I'm over pub food and stuff, so we live in Beeville, so we hit up all the Beeville places. Liverpool, they kind of look at me funny when I go into their restaurants, but we do it. But we know everyone that comes into the pub. We go support them if they're I know a lot of people say don't eat at chains, but all these chains come into us and help our families. I go eat at chains. We had dinner at Longhorn last night, so my wife came from that. I know a lot of people. They come in and do a lot of their meetings with me, so it's just I go support people that support me. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it still local or local people.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
I'll order a salad and tip 200%, so the money comes back to me anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get a steak in Central New York, you want a good steak, where you go, it's hard to really find a steakhouse. There aren't really many besides the chains.
Yeah, but it's a long drive. We go out to the casinos. They do it right, but that's specialty stuff. We don't go out on a Tuesday just to go get steak. They're probably not even open. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
But a lot of steakhouses. We go downtown. There's a couple, but one. There's gonna be two. But like I said, I don't like going out and spending money on steak when you can cook it at home. So, but everyone says that about my place. Oh, my chicken wings are better. They go up all over the place. Read it. I make better ones in the air fryer. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Or we're not all about food and drinks. It's about the experience, talking to other people. It's the big thing about the restaurant industry. It's an experience, not just food or a meal. You want it all. I could sit at home and watch a game, yeah, sure, but it's not as fun when you're high-fiving people next to you and running around the bar celebrating a big bucket or whatever it is.
I'm 37. I think I'm starting to get cheap. I'm not wasting as much money as I used to.
You got a little one now. You got to plan for the future.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you? I'm curious. What do other parents do? What do you? You've got two kids?
Yeah, two kids. They're older, 16 and almost 13, and we well, my kids will say I'm cheap too, but I don't mind, like I said, going out and spending money on food and supporting other people. We do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's the ones, I won't bash change because we go there, but it's the ones I don't know if I could say names, but Panera Bread. We go there and we'll have a family of four. It's $92. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, how is this 90? It's a flatbread with chopped up chicken on it that I got. And my kids get bread bowls with macaroni, and it's $92. I'm like, geez, what am I doing wrong? Or Five Guys, it's good burgers, yeah, but family of four with milkshakes, it's $75.
Wow.
I'm like, God,
that's crazy.
But I'll spend the money, it's fine, but it's what am I doing wrong? My burger's $8 with fries. The fries are extra there.
Right. Yeah, I was where was I just recently, and they had something that was just like incredibly cheap. I forget where it was. I was watching. I follow a lot of like New York City Instagram, like food Instagrammers.
Yeah.
And there's this video that this one account posted, and they were like losing their mind that this restaurant in Brooklyn was doing a quarter-pound cheeseburger with like a special sauce and pickles for $10.
Yeah.
Like just the cheeseburger. And I was like, that kind of is a good deal nowadays, especially down there.
Like we do a Tuesday deal. It's a burger, beer, and fries for $8. I'm like, where are you gonna find that?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy
Come on,
hell.
man. Yeah. It's like people are like, why do you do that? Don't you lose money? And I was like, no, because you stay for 19 other beers. That's
Right.
where I get it back. So.
Yeah.
Or a soda if you're not a drinker. We'll give you a soda, but
Yeah.
it's $8. It's like McDonald's full meal.
That's
Like McDonald's is crazy too.
a value meal, burger, fries, and a drink at McDonald's nowadays is at like 11.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
Huh.
full meal from us for $8.
Yeah, that's insane.
Look at that.
Yeah. It takes an hour and a half to get the food, but you can get it right now.
For mine?
No, I'm just joking.
I was gonna say not at my place. That's my big thing is like In and Out. Like it's not In and Out Burger, but we want the food out there. We want you to stay, watch the game. Like you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like on a Sunday, people get there at 11. They'll order an appetizer, a meal, and then I was like, I want you to have such a great time. You're like, hey, I'm bringing home dinner. Like here you go. Here's chicken riggies. Like, whatever you want.
Yeah, so I was saying like earlier, like I'm getting cheaper. Like I think if Anthony 7 years ago, I would have already I would be sitting here with the Apple Vision Pro in my face. I would have already bought it.
Yeah.
Anthony now at 37, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I should get that or not. But and I have had it in my shopping cart a couple times already. But
Just get it.
yeah.
You just need that push. Just buy it. Just buy it.
Luckily, my wife doesn't listen to the podcast.
She will now.
If I walked home with an Apple Vision Pro in my face, my wife would murder me.
Okay.
Absolutely
Well, then
murder
don't
me.
buy it.
Don't buy it.
Keep it in the car.
It's a business expense, honey. So becoming a cheap person. I started making pizza at home because we would order pizza from some places and it's like $30 for a large pie, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I enjoy making pizza at home. I'm gonna start making pizza at home. Gonna save a bunch of money, and so I tried that with wings. Went to Wegmans, got a thing of wings, cut them down. They're definitely baked them. I don't fry them at home because I don't want to make a huge mess and have to deal with all that. But I can bake pretty decent wings. I've figured out a couple methods. But I did the math. Even after the sauce and everything, it's costing me $9
Oh, yeah.
for 12 wings at home. So I'd much rather just go spend the extra $5 or $6
Exactly.
and go get.
Just come to us on Mondays. They're half price.
Oh, really?
Being cheap. There you go.
Yeah.
Yesterday, well, what's today? Tuesday. Yeah, yesterday was our wing day. And I see, I don't know, 200 people on Monday that I never see all week, but it's fine. I know they're coming in on Monday.
Yeah.
So for the wings, and
Yeah.
fine with me.
That's wild.
So yeah, that's why we do different things on different days and different clientele, this and that. And
Yeah.
bring them all in.
And you find that works just doing that stuff like,
Yeah.
Tuesday burger day?
Yeah, it works. It's slower days in the week. Like people are coming off of wings on Sunday, so how many people are going to come on Monday and
Yeah.
things of that nature? But everyone comes out. Like,
Yeah.
good time. It's the experience.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Home Team Pub, it's a great spot.
Yeah.
I mean, before you, it was what, O'Malley's?
Well, before me it was Uriah's. Then in the heyday of my heyday, it was Megan McMurphy's, Kelly Cole's.
Yeah.
That just got posted online somewhere, and it was like 57 different things, and which I've known. I know the history behind it, and that was like my biggest thing when we first opened was fighting all those ghosts of all the other owners. I'm like, I'm not that owner that owned this or this or that. Like I do my own thing. Like here, it's Liverpool didn't have a sports bar. Here I am, like sports bar. I lived in Rochester for 6 years. I went to school in Buffalo at Niagara University. Met my wife at Niagara University. She's from Rochester. We lived there. All my family was here. When I came home, we came home on the weekends, Syracuse game, go watch a sporting event. There was nowhere to go in Liverpool. I couldn't find NFL ticket. No one had, no TVs to watch the Syracuse game. And I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
So I found the little niche, and we created Home Team Pub, and everyone always says, like, oh, it's only going to be profitable if it's an Irish bar because the last 2 places were an Irish bar. And I'm like, well, there was one after those 2 Irish bars that didn't make it. I'm like, it's not the food or this or that. It's like what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all about the experience. Like everyone can do a Philly cheesesteak. Like my big motto is I don't want to be the best in town. I want to be your favorite. You go to your favorite restaurant 3, 4, 5 nights a week. You go to the best restaurant like once a year, maybe. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, I just want the best wings.
Yeah. You did. You were the people's choice last year. Yeah.
And it's all about the experience. It's like from my feedback from there, I'll give you a little insiders how to beat me. Big thing is the 2 things I've heard the most of when I was there. It's like me talking to people and just making it like that's the owner back there, like making wings. He's sweating, and everyone would come and say hi, and I'd step away and say hi. That's one. The 2 is I had a hot wing. Like everyone else's were just sitting in chafing dishes and everything else, and they're preloading them and all this stuff, like getting ready for a rush. I'm like, this is where you go and show people that you have a good wing. Why are you going to give them a nice cold wing?
Yeah.
So
That's an interesting point because, like, when we did our first event with 3-1 Fried, I think it was 2 Wing Fests ago, and it was just the reality. It was like, I'm standing in a parking lot.
yeah,
There was a guy, I was here last week, there was a guy parked right where I'm standing, like eating his lunch in his car.
yeah,
And now I have a deep fryer set up in a tent, and I'm making chicken. It's not going to be as good as the restaurant. But there are some people like yourself who, go above. Some people are just like, hey, listen, I'm in a parking lot, deal with it. Some people are going to say, I'm going to try and make it as close to the same as I can.
Yeah, we make it as close as we can. Obviously, it's better to come out of the restaurant. It's all like fresh and stuff, and take a little bit more time on it. And if there's a huge line, we're kind of rushing through it. But add an extra sterno, make it hot. Like that's the big thing. I know blue cheese is a big thing. I got beat up on social about that last night. But
oh, really? For the for the packets?
Yeah, like we had the Ken's, the little packet with the thing, but we have a food truck too. So we were at the Winter Fair all weekend. I had a bunch of those left over. I'm not going to just throw them away. Here you go, have it. If you want it, eat it. If you don't, ask for our homemade stuff. Like we'll give you whatever you want. Like my big thing is, I always tell my staff, and they hate it. I was like, I'm a don't say no, try not to say no restaurant. Like if we have it in house, like make it for them. Like that goes right back to the experience part of it. Like you brought up Home Depot earlier. I worked for Home Depot. I worked for Marriott's. Like I took all these jobs knowing I want my own place. How does the Marriott do it over everyone else? Why are they the best in hospitality? Why is Home Depot the best in what they do? And you find little things and bring it into your own. And Home Depot, they give everyone the power on the restaurant or on the floor to make a customer happy. If they don't want to spend $19 on a hose fitting, like give it to them for $15. Like you got like a $5 window right there. So it's like make them happy. Same thing with the Marriott. Learn everything about this guest, if he's a re-guest or they're coming back or everything else. Like we want him to pick Marriott everywhere he goes. Like learn about him, figure out what he buys, have that ready in the room for you. So it's like, okay. But everyone always says my menu's so big. I was like, well, we're open 7 days a week. We have a bunch of different people that come in that want different things. Family of 4, like 2 might be gluten sensitive or gluten free, or 1 might be a vegan, 1 might eat everything. So it's like they have to all eat, right? We get that all the time.
I think it's interesting because like I go back and forth on my thought process of this, like listening to you talk, I'm like, yeah, that makes 100% sense, and there's like plenty of exceptional fine dining restaurants where I'm blanking on the name of the restaurant in Seattle where like to make a reservation, there's no like online reservations. You have to like talk to someone. They have to like they'll ask you questions. They'll ask for like your social profiles and stuff so they can research you to make sure you have the best experience possible. And I'm sure, that goes, to up to a certain extent. Or I think of like Eden. I was in Eden not too long ago, and they were telling me a family stopped in during like family weekend at SU.
Yeah.
And the husband asked for chicken soup to go because his wife was at the hotel room sick. They don't have chicken soup, and so but the chef made chicken soup quickly.
Yeah.
You know, on the line, like from scratch on the line, and gave it to him to take home. You know, to the hotel for his wife. So there's stories like that I'm like, okay, yes, like empower everyone to provide the best customer service possible. But then I hear stories where there is this. I think it was Malcolm Gladwell, but I'm blank. I don't think it was him. It was somebody else like that, where he was saying there was this restaurant in L.A. that he would, or wherever it was in California, he would go to with his family, neighborhood restaurant, nicer restaurant, and he's a vegetarian. They didn't have any vegetarian items on the menu, and so he would say, "Can I get the steak, but don't give me the steak, just give me more of the vegetables or whatever." And the first like 2 or 3 times they were like, "Yeah, sure." And then sorry for the interruption, folks. My iPad started listing insurance agencies. Maybe I'm gonna get sued for this podcast.
Probably.
But anyway, so like the 4th time, the restaurant wound up getting incredibly busy and popular. And like the 4th time that he went with his family, he essentially tried to do the same thing, order the steak, but without the steak. Yeah. And the chef came out, from the owner chef came out from the kitchen and said, you know, listen, we don't do that here. And there's a vegetarian restaurant down the street. I think you'd be better off going there from now on.
Yeah.
And, you know, Malcolm Gladwell was saying, you know, he was like, I appreciated that. Like, this is a restaurant who now has the demand to say, this is what we do. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
Yeah. There's bits and pieces. Like, I wouldn't say we're perfect. Like, there's going to be people that come in and ask for stuff. And we tell them, like, hey, it might take a little longer, but we could do it for you.
Yeah.
Like a game day, like everyone comes in, you flat seat the restaurant. It's chaos. Yeah. But, like, we try. I wouldn't say we do it all the time, but that's my big thing is, like, 4 walls marketing. They come in, you want to capture them, keep them there. Like, I'm thinking, like, some people think outside the box and be like, well, if you did it for them once, but it's a college kid, you get them for the next 4 years. That's a good amount of money. And I have another kid that goes to Syracuse, and they come and visit you all the time. So I try and go above and beyond for everyone. Do we do it all the time? No, but 98.3% of the time we do. If you're that 0.1, 0.7, I'll find you and make it right.
So what was your major in at Niagara?
Hospitality and tourism management. So I always knew I wanted to be in the restaurant business. Like, I didn't grow up in it. I kind of did, but my grandmother worked at the Copper Kettle downtown, which is now Allen Angus. And I just fell in love with it. My grandfather was he was a police officer, and he'd come pick me up from school, sit me down on the bar, and the camaraderie of everyone, like all the police officers and restaurant workers and everyone in there, like, loved little kids, I guess. Just kidding. Weird. But he would sit me down, take his hat off, and people would give me nickels and dimes and everything else. And my grandparents would keep this off for me, and I loved it. And just everyone going around, and my grandmother was like the center of attention. And I just fell in love with it, loved it. She brought me back to her house, taught me how to cook a little bit. And then I grew up in the heyday of Emeril Lagasse, and Food Network just came out. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I want to do this. I want to be a TV personality. Then I found out I was ugly, and they wouldn't put me on TV. But I always wanted to be in the restaurant business. My first job was, like, in a deli, and I loved it, making bagels and sandwiches and everything else. But it's like you learn your guests. I could still tell you orders from when I was 14 of people, what they ordered and what they were going to say at the end. Like, I already figured all this out beforehand. So I did that. I knew I wanted the college experience and learn a little bit. Started researching it, and Niagara had a great program for tourism and hospitality management. Went there, learned a lot. They teach you, like, menu planning and wine tasting and all this stuff. And, like, wine tastes like wine to me.
Yeah.
That's something I want to get into, but it's just like, I'm terrified of fruit, so it's just like, I know where this came from. And that's always in the back of my head. So... but that, and I got the college experience, and they were great. And then I just always wanted to do it. And like I said, I knew the end game was owning my own place. So then I branched out and worked for all these other companies and learned their ways and brought it all to the home team. So
Yeah.
worked for the Dardens of the world, the big chains, and why are they so successful? So
Yeah. So is that stuff like when you all were getting ready to open the restaurant or planning it out, what were some of the more important things that were on the list? Was it like trying to make sure that like your design was down, your layout, like you had the menu first? Was it?
yeah, it was a little bit of everything. It's just kind of, to be honest, I was very selfish and like, hey, I like all this stuff, so let's put it on a menu and hope people like it too. But it was like I said before, there's no place to watch a game. So I'm like, let's make an open concept, see the TVs, like put TVs everywhere. I want you to see 14 different angles of Jim Boeheim's forehead, like all this stuff. So it was cool. And then the menu planning came into it. And then it's just what's quick and easy in game day that we can fly out of the kitchen, things of that nature. But it's always about the experience. Like I still talk about to this time. We just had a restaurant meeting and I'm like, I love the game day atmosphere here. It's awesome, but how do we enhance it? Like, give me suggestions. What do your guests ask for? Like, what can we do better? It's all about the experience. I'd rather go to a place and have a great time and have lousy chicken wings. Best of both worlds, I guess. So
Yeah.
we try. But, we like I said before, I don't want to be the best in town. I want to be your favorite. So one of those big things is friendly staff, good food, cold beer, some cheap drinks, some expensive drinks. We got everything on the menu for everyone. So we call ourselves a community-based sports pub. Like, we listen to all suggestions. Like, I'll put whatever on the menu that you want. We have groups of people that come in like 5 days a week, say, hey, don't add this to the menu because I'll never come back again. And I'm like, okay. I'd rather have you 5 times a week than the one person once a month. So.
Yeah, I've got. We live in the ghetto, and we've got Change of Pace is right around the corner.
Yeah.
I was just there Thursday. I love going to Change of Pace. It's like one of my favorite. Prior to having our son, I'd go there. Like my wife and I would go there back before COVID on like a Friday night, and get a bucket of beers and have dinner and whatever. It's a great place. And I was just there last Thursday with an old friend, and first of all, incredibly cheap. 8 beers and an order of wings, $37.
Nice.
And
Mine's 34.
yeah,
What kind of beer was it?
all Bud Lights.
Oh, yeah, see?
Bud Light's back.
34.
Bud Light is back. And
Bud Light for me never went anywhere. I get it. Like it was like when White Claw first came out, people are going up to the bar and like looking around, see if anyone's watching. I'll take a White Claw.
yeah,
And like, okay, same thing.
yeah. As that person was Bud.
No, Bud. Bud was always yelling at me, like White Claws.
Yeah, I think Bud has a White Claw T-shirt that he actually wears at home. But
I gave him a pair of underwear, White Claw underwear. Probably wears those too.
I think he's wearing them as he's going to bed listening to this podcast
He's
right
gonna hate me after this.
now. I'll have to get him back on the show so he can defend himself. But
Just put him next to me. We'll go battle it out.
that would be a fun one. I tried doing a couple different shows. One of them was a poker with restaurant owners.
Yeah.
And so it would be like me and then 3 other owners, and we filmed it. I tried filming this twice, and the challenge was we would all somebody would be talking over the other one, or we'd talk so much shit that we could show like the flop from this hand and then like the river of this hand. So it didn't make sense if you're following poker and you know how to play.
Yeah.
Be like, wait a minute, he just had like Queen 7. Why the hell does he have like pocket 5s now? So it never worked out for that. But I always thought that'd be a fun one to like get variety.
Yeah,
of owners.
X-rated.
Yeah.
I'm a big shit talker. I love it. Like I just I'm in the room with another restaurant owner. Like you do things good, I do things good, and we go back and forth. But it's all in love. Like I don't hate anyone.
Yeah.
Like I want everyone to be successful. So I like Liverpool. Like I want everyone to be busy. Like brings people. Like I used to bar hop and do things and order from here, order from there, and I just want that all over the place. Like this is why Syracuse is so great because we all get along. Like I don't have any issues with anyone. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll play poker with anyone. I go all in with stupid hands. Call my bluff. I don't care.
I've got 2 sets of chips sitting right over there. I just got to go get my table out of storage.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we'll have to do it sometime.
I'm terrible at poker. If you want to win my money, it's fine, but I'm going to learn a lot at the table. I'll pay for it.
Yeah. I feel like poker's coming back. I just started getting into poker not too long ago either.
Yeah.
Bud Light and poker, the 2 things that have come back. Yeah, it. I forget what I was going to say. I was going to say something about restaurants, and now
I do
forget
that
what
to a lot of people. Just forget.
Just forget what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So there's enough people in Onondaga County that, like, if 0.25% of the population is going to Home Team Pub,
Yeah.
and the restaurant down the street gets 0.25%, there's still plenty of people.
Oh, yeah. There's
you know.
plenty of people. There's plenty of spaces for everyone.
Yeah.
But that's what I want. Like on a Monday, you might come here. On a Tuesday, you might go there. I said, why not everyone be busy in things? It's fine with me. Like I don't get upset about it. I want everyone to do well. Like in turn, like their staff's happy and they'll come drink at our spot, and my staff goes to there and drinks at their spot and does whatever. Like service industry, we all support each other. So that's how it always is when I'm out to eat. Like I don't tell people, hey, I'm Joe from Home Team Pub. Some people might recognize me because I'm goofy. Others don't. I try and take off logos. I do wear them around all the time. But my wife, that's the biggest thing. She's like, you want to go out to eat? I'm like, yeah, bring me another hat and sweatshirt. And she's like, okay. It's like, I hate being that person. And sometimes I do, and I'll like apologize, and I'll stand with my back up against the wall or something. And they're like, I don't care. I was like, some people do.
Yeah.
I get hate emails sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's plenty of people out here. You just got to give them a reason to come to your place and want it. Like it might be game day for me, but someone might have a good chicken riggy special on Tuesday. Like, yeah, go to them.
It's I was walking around with a 3-1 fried shirts when we first opened, because I wear that every fucking day of my life.
Yeah,
and,
got a new one on today. I like that.
Got the Eat Local one.
That's why I had to change up the colors. Like I had like 15 of the same sweatshirt that I would switch off when we first opened, and like golf polo or whatever the hell I was wearing.
Yeah,
and people are like, what's your closet look like? And I was like, it's all the same color, all blues and grays and oranges. I got crazy golf polos, and my wife's like, you have way too many clothes. I'm like, yeah.
Believe it or not, from looking at my face, I was never really a fashionable person. So having the excuse of wearing the exact same thing every day, helps me
Makes
out.
it easy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I'm going bald. I'll lose my hair soon. Like it's going to be easier in the morning. Well, I just put a hat on, so it's not.
Right.
But I don't have to, one less step. I don't have to shampoo my hair.
Yeah. I know when I go to the barber shop, my barber is always like, he's like, so how do you brush your hair? I'm like, I don't brush my hair.
I think I wore gel like twice this year.
Yeah.
Mousse or whatever product, I guess you could say. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, for sure. God, I'm so bummed that I keep forgetting these questions I have lined up in my head because I took Alpha Brain right before you got in here, so that way I could be clear and be focused. So I know that I've worked for some other restaurants around town.
Yep.
Who one in particular, they've got like 8 locations today, but and it's to their detriment, I think, because they weren't ready for it. Has it been challenging? Like, do you get people, I'm sure you do, contacting you, be like, oh, I've got a great location for your next one?
Yeah, every day. Like, I do want a second location. I kind of have that with the food truck now. Like, I wouldn't say I get bored, but like, I like to branch out and do different things. That's why I like the Wing Fest and like the Winter Fair and different things. Like, you get people from all over, like Camillus, and I met people from Albany and Buffalo that came in for this stuff. So it's like, it's cool. You never know where you're going to end up and whatnot, but it's, I get that all the time. Like I'll pick and choose. Like I'm not going to go battle with people and things of that nature, but I think I wouldn't say popular, but we're known now where I can go into a market and they'll know what I do, what I don't do well. Like if that's something that you want, it's good, but also, I'm focusing on Home Team Pub right now in Liverpool. Like, that's my backyard. Like, I want, well, not really my backyard, but it's where I grew up, I'll say. But I don't want to make this the redheaded stepchild and everything I worked so hard for there goes to crap. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather this self-sustained, like well-oiled machine, but it's the restaurant industry. It's never going to be like that.
Yeah.
But I'll go number 2 soon, but I'll pick and choose. I have that option. I don't need number 2. It's something you want and expand, but I'll never be at 8.
Yeah.
I won't franchise. Like Darden can come in and buy me. Like, yeah, I'll open a away team pub next to you. Like, if someone sends me a check for $20 million and says, "Don't ever open home team pub again," I was like, "Yep, it's yours. Here you go." I did my job.
Is that kind of, I mean, what's the ultimate goal with it? Was it when you opened, was it like, hey, in 10 years or in 5 years, we want to be profitable and doing this and kind of taking it easy? Was it in 6 years, I want to sell it to somebody?
Yeah. No, the goal I had in sight is just comfortable family or comfortable like stuff for my family and things. And I worked in the restaurant industry my whole life. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week for someone else. Like, why not do that for yourself? And I was beating myself up, missing holidays, missing birthday parties, like everything. Like, I couldn't tell you like half the stuff like I missed in the restaurant world with my family, and that's what was always thinking. Like, I don't want to miss all this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I want to be able to write my own schedule, go in when I want. I want to pick up my kids from school. I want to go to their sporting events. Do I miss some now? Yeah, because it happens. It's business. But I don't miss as many as I used to back then.
Yeah.
So that was like the big thing, kind of like stability and everything. And it was the right time. I'm like, this place needs a revamp. I'm sick of like going to, where do we go? And we lived in Clay at the time, and we would drive out to like a Buffalo Wild Wings to catch the game because that's like the only ones that had the Washington game on. And I was too cheap to buy the Sunday ticket. So
Yeah.
we're driving all the way out there, and that's the thing. Like, people will drive if they would have to. But my whole end game was basically rebuild the community. It wasn't broken, but Liverpool was missing a sports bar, and I grew up right around the corner. And that place was, like I said, a billion different things. And everyone said, "You can't do it. You can't do it. Like, don't do it." My dad told me twice I wanted to buy it, 2 times before we bought it. And he said, "No, go learn a little bit more." And I was like, "Okay." He goes, "Learn off someone else's dime." And I was like, "Okay." And then I went to him. I was like, "Hey, it's for sale again." He's like, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, let's go." Went in the next day, and we bought it, and here we are.
That's wild.
Yeah, and everyone said, like I said, I was fighting the ghosts of everyone, all the owners' old habits. I said, I don't do any of those. I said, we'll be fine. And we just went in there, and I was workaholic there every day, open to close for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I made it miss one. And then, like, everyone's like, "Oh, you're great, blah, blah, you're going to succeed. This place is awesome." Bang, COVID. And you're like, "Oh, my God." I did not see that coming. Like, I thought of a billion different reasons why home team would close, and that was not one of them. And I got nervous, and I was like, "Oh, man, all this stuff I worked for a year and a half, it's going down the toilet." And I said, "You know what? Let's just tie our shoes a little tighter and work a little harder." And that's what we did through COVID. And I think, honestly, COVID saved Home Team Pub, like, because that's when we rallied around the community, and the community rallied around us. As soon as we opened, we were busier than before. And, like, I didn't stop donating to baseball teams and everything else. They needed extra equipment, and, like, masks, and the school needed stuff. But I'm like, "Yeah, here you go, here you go." And my dad's all nervous, like, "We're going to go broke." I'm like, "It's all right. We got $5 left in the account. We'll be okay. We got fish fry coming on Friday. Catch right back up." So that was good. Still paying rent. Haven't missed a rent payment. So it's like, I didn't have to pay rent. I did because I signed a contract, and I'm not going to not do it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was cool, and COVID ended, hopefully. And and the community, that was the whole thing. Like, after that, it was all community-based. Like, we're here for the community. Like, we give, I don't even know. My accountant probably hates me. I give so much money away. It's just like, it's awesome. But these are the people every day that come in. Like,
Yeah.
And it's always going to be something. Sally's selling cookies. Let's buy cookies from Sally. And now Sally comes to Home Team Pub 55 times a year. And so. Like, Liverpool Sports, we give it to them. Like, Beeville is coming over now. Like, I live in Beeville. My kids go to Beeville. And so now people are learning, and they're like, "Oh, open in Beeville, open in Beeville." And I'm like, "No, I like going out to Beeville." Well, might be coming Beeville.
Yeah. Beeville's such a, like, I'm right now in the middle of running their Beeville Dining Weeks.
Yeah,
And
so I love like bringing that up. Like Beeville does a lot. Like
Yeah.
I live in Beeville. They do like their pub crawls, their dining weeks. They do like the whole village is around people, and Tussauds gets into it. That's a little outside of the village and
Yeah.
things of that nature. Now Angry Smokehouse open, so you got to cross the bridge now and all this stuff. So I love what Beeville does, and I wish I was close. I wish I was like in the village or closer. Like we can do that stuff, but
Yeah.
we're on 57, so no one's gonna walk down 57 and do a pub crawl. Got to rent a bus.
Yeah, I'm a part of the restaurant owners text group of all the
nice.
owners in Beeville, and it's amazing how much they're all connected to each other
Yeah.
and work to help each other. Like just this past Saturday, there was a power outage for a few hours. They're all texting each other like, "Hey, I heard this. This person called me." You know, hopefully health inspectors aren't listening to this podcast. I don't think they do, but if there's a health inspector in town, they shoot the text out like, "Hey, they're here." And
Right. So you could do that.
yeah,
Not
for
against the
sure.
law.
Yeah. When I was in North Syracuse, when we first opened 3-1 Fried, we had our health inspector show up, and I got to say, all the health inspectors are great. I haven't met, and I've dealt with a few different ones. None of them. Chris is phenomenal. Kim's great. You know, everybody I've ever met, whether it's an event or whatever, it's been wonderful. But
Amy's the best. Shout out Amy.
Amy, I don't think I've ever worked with Amy.
She's mine.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Who's one of them just retired? I forget who it was.
I don't know.
But anyways, so we had Kim show up and he was doing ours, and so I text Nick Sanford across the street at Toss and Fire. I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Kim's here. Just a heads up." He was like, "I was just thinking about we're due. Thank you for the heads up." And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, can you add me to the text thread for the owners in North Syracuse?" He was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, they don't have it.
It's like there isn't.
Yeah, they're
one.
all close knit like Beeville. I hang out in Beeville a lot, and they're all always talking with each other and everything else.
Yeah.
Like I listen to like Sal's my backyard neighbor, so
Okay.
there's my backyard. So I hear him say a lot of stuff about like the owners are such cool dudes and everything. I met a couple of them obviously at Wingfest and everything. And
Yeah.
I know Jeff and a couple of the others, and it's awesome. Like they're so like knit. Like Sal said, I think on your podcast, there's like 17 pizza places in Beeville.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like 1 billion people order pizza, so it's fine.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
fine.
What's even more amazing is that small of an area, they can all still be open.
Yep.
I mean, it's not often that a restaurant goes out of business in Beeville.
Yeah.
And that to me is even more exceptional than just like the community of restaurant owners. It's like that all of them in such a small area make money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like he said, there's always enough people to fill your spot.
Yeah.
You just have to make it worthwhile to go there. So
Yeah.
they all do something a little different that you like. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So, I mean, Wingfest it's coming up. It's only a couple months away.
What's Wingfest?
You won People's Choice last year.
It's circled on my calendar.
Yeah. It's going to be an exciting year this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard bigger and better.
Yeah. 2 more
Throwing
vendors.
some more competition at me.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm hoping that he does it, but because he said he was, we just got to confirm. Joe from Slice Pizza, hopefully he's a vendor there out of
nice.
Utica. And I think there's like 1 or 2 others that Nick's got from like out of town that are coming. There was people from like Ohio and Wyoming that were reaching out this year that wanted to participate.
That's awesome.
So it's crazy. It's wild that like they've turned this event into something as big as it is.
Oh yeah, wings are wings. Like obviously Buffalo, it's not too far away, but
Yeah.
remember like I love like Wingfest. I think someone else did one around here. I was working for someone. Oh no, it's the winter. They do it downtown. The winter.
Oh, yeah.
something or other. But that's cool too. But
Yeah.
I'm on 57. I can't do that.
Right.
I gotta buy a village place.
Yeah. All right.
Not
Well,
Liverpool. Don't get worried, Liverpool. Too close to me. But yeah, Wingfest. I heard bunch of new things coming. It's gonna be bigger and better than last year. So
Yeah, it's gonna
it'll be fun. Dano coming back. Do you know if Dano's coming back?
I don't think he personally is.
Yeah, he didn't like me last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
He was a character, man. It was pretty
Yeah.
funny to see him and his team. You know, he had that one guy that like is his doppelganger that
Yeah.
works for him, and we were going in to film content with him like the day before at Limp Lizard.
Yeah.
And we walked in and like the one dude that looks just like him is sitting at a table, and then Danos and I like walked in and I was like, is there a camera? Is this some sort of a joke? Like, which one do I talk to? Which one is Dan? So he was a riot, and especially the first day, he was so fucking drunk.
Yeah.
He was hammered, and but it was a great time hanging out with him. I got to talk to his guys about like their social media and how they work it, and that was really informative. And it's funny to think like there's people out there. It's just like, you know, and huge companies like that. Like that's their thing.
Yeah.
You know, is just social media content. You know,
That's
just
the big thing now.
yeah. I know. I was just talking to a restaurant owner yesterday who she has zero. She doesn't have a good social media presence at all. She posts often, but not well. Like it's
Yeah.
you know, bad, terrible website. And then she spent. She was doing a ton of work all from week 1 of football until this week. Ton of paid advertising on the radio. And so, and I've seen her posting about it all season, and so I was like,
Yeah.
man, I wonder if it's worked. So I asked her, I was like, hey, you know, can you give me any insight into that? And she was spending about $1,000 a month on radio ads and stuff. And I was like, so did you see the return? She's like, no. She's like, we got a little bit of a bump the first couple weeks, and then nothing. I was like, what about like those live broadcasts they would do, and they would do like the wing challenge and stuff? She's like, those were dead.
Yeah.
So it really is, it's interesting to see that kind of stuff. Like I think restaurants nowadays, like I've been saying, because I do with Yummy Socials, I do like a podcast that's all about, they're short. It's like just for advertising information for restaurants. And I think restaurants have to be more intentional nowadays about their social media, because like you're competing against, I've had the camera on you this entire time for this last 2-minute monologue. You know, you're competing against ESPN, and you know, Tasty, and you know, Hot Ones, and you know, the Home Shopping Network, whoever the fuck else is on social media that your customers follow. That's who you're competing with for content.
Yeah,
you know, and so that's one thing. So you have to have great content nowadays for your stuff, no matter what your business is, no matter what level you're at. But then I'm dealing with another restaurant, or he's like falling for this company called him like, for $500 a month, we're going to build you an app.
It's nuts.
And it's like, no one's going to download your app for your restaurant.
Yeah.
Don't waste the money on it. And
crap, our app drops next week. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that. But like what you're saying, you're spending like, here's my motto. I gave you insight earlier of like why Home Team Pub is Home Team Pub, but it's, you can spend as much money as you want in marketing, and you're getting people in. It's your job to keep them there and to keep them coming in.
Yeah.
Like you might not have to do $1,000 now. You could only do $200 to get the new clientele in, but what are you doing right? What are you doing wrong?
Right.
I always look at what I'm doing wrong. Like whatever we're doing right, let's keep doing it. Like I hear different things. Like I said, my menu's so big. Like, oh, this is good, this is good, this isn't. And I'm like, oh man, now I take it right to my chest, and I'm like, we're gonna make this the best around.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's the four walls marketing. You get people in, you got to make sure they keep coming back. Like,
sure.
It's like, if she was busy week 1 and 2, well, what was different week 3, 4, and 5? Or what was someone else doing better than you did? Like, that's how I look at everything, like, in the restaurant. Like, you could spend $1 billion and be packed one night. If you pissed everyone off, no one's going to come back.
Right.
Like, I always say, people are like, oh, Home Team's Pub's great. You don't have to be there as much. It's like, as much as I worked for the last 5 years, one day could kill me. We could have one thing happen, foodborne illness, something like anything like that. Like something could happen where overnight it's gone. Like it happens to companies.
Yeah.
They get big too quick, like you said, spend too much money, buy 19 trucks, buy another place, and now this one's like left
Yeah.
to burn. So it's like, be careful.
Yeah, that's good
Well,
advice.
Yeah, the thing is, like I said, you spend as much money as you want on marketing, and you have to spend money on marketing. You gotta get new people.
Yeah.
Obviously, like marketing is a big part of it. But like first starting out, I spent probably $20,000 for the first March Madness doing marketing. Like, let's get people in here. Let's get people in here. Next day, we were busy. I was only 4 months old. The next one, I spent even more. What happened? COVID for the next March Madness canceled everything. What do you think happened to that $20,000? Like, oh, here's credits. I'm like, oh, gee, thanks. Like, oh my, yeah. So it's like be careful, like what you spend and who you spend it with, and
Yeah.
downloading apps and everything else. Like, you could do text blasts. Like, I get text blasts from a whole bunch of different restaurants, or email blasts. Those still work.
Oh, yeah.
But there's people that don't read text or emails. So
Yeah.
then you go to radio, so you get them, and then you do this, you do TV, do something else. Just have a little piece in everything, and you'll grow. But it's the big thing is the four walls marketing. Like,
Yeah.
keep people there, keep people wanting coming back. Like I said, I have people that come 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. They're there more than I am. And it's just what makes these people happy, and you become friends with them. Some of them became family, and it's just like, hey, let's like listen. And they all have your back. Like they'll all text me and be like, hey, you know, so and so told Pete that we're out of chicken tenders. Like, didn't you just say you spent a shit ton of money on chicken tenders? And I'm like, yeah. Like, we're not out of them. And I'm like, text their managers or whatever. Like, do we 86 chicken tenders? Like, yeah. I'm like, all right, go to the freezer, like left shelf on the bottom. And they're like, oh yeah, here they are. I'm like, oh, that's the biggest thing. Like, no one wants to look anymore. No
Yeah.
one wants to download an app.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
many apps you got on your phone?
Yeah.
Probably 90.
I know.
I couldn't find my flashlight the other day. It took me so long. Something I really needed.
Yeah, I know. That's the most frustrating thing I've encountered is like, this client of mine, been with him for 6 years, and he's just, they're like, yeah, but they're guaranteeing me I'm going to grow with this thing. I'm like, no one's downloading your app.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is, so the way that and then I'll stop talking about it. But the biggest thing is, they're like, so with the app, if a customer downloads your app and orders Grubhub or DoorDash through your app, you're not going to get charged the Grubhub fee. It gets
like
reimbursed.
10% or something.
Yeah. Well, for him, it's 30. But
Yeah, but if you order off your own app or website, I think
right.
It's 10.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So you want to put do Grubhub, but push them to your website. You could do
Yeah.
that. You don't need an app for that.
Right. And so I was like, listen, no one's going to you're competing against Grubhub and DoorDash at that point.
Yeah.
No one's going to, they might go to okay, you can send them to make a post, hey, order online here on my website. They'll do that.
Yeah.
No one's going to download an app on their phone. And if they do, they're never going to remember to use it.
Yeah.
They're going to remember to go to Grubhub or DoorDash because they've spent billions of dollars in marketing.
Exactly.
And he's like, no, it's a guarantee. It's going to happen. I'm like, oh God. I was like, listen, give me the $6,000 a year. Don't give it to this company.
Yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah.
I'll make them come to your restaurant.
Yeah. All right. Well, Joey, you've said it all.
Yeah.
You revealed
I probably
everything.
said so much that I shouldn't have.
I think I might try a different title with this and say an argument I had with Joey from Home Team Pub on the podcast to try and get more views.
No, just say Bud is 81.
Bud is
And
81.
That's the tagline.
Talking about Bud Laura's age with Joey from the Home Team Pub.
Sorry, Bud.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate
Thank
you coming in.
Likewise.